How's it going? It has been a while, hasn't it? Been a while. Did you all miss me? Because I missed you all. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, Alistair Mycroft's been placed in the fucking timeout corner again. No. No, he was not. No. It's more mundane than that. IRL life has just been getting in the way of dumb internet shit. I've been focusing primarily on getting trying to get enough cash to move out of the place I'm currently living in and move into someplace better. I'm kind of aiming, personally, for this summer. Hopefully by the summertime, I will be living in a much, much better place there. Maybe not the beginning of summer, but I'm going to wager dog days this summer. Middle end of summer is when, hopefully, I'll be in a much nicer place than the shithole I'm currently living in. I'm kind of hoping for that, but right now, it's going to be pretty sporadic when it comes to YouTube videos. Which, don't get me wrong, I've definitely wanted to make a couple of YouTube videos recently. In particular about someone, you might have heard of him. Mr. Daniel Larson. I really wanted to talk about old Danny boy there, but I've decided not to talk about Daniel Larson today. No, what I've decided to do is we're going to talk about a very, very beautiful woman. A woman by the name of Stephanie Bri. Now, I had already made a video not that long ago talking about this very, very beautiful woman with a 5 o'clock shadow. I talked about how Stephanie Bri is a connoisseur of big, fat, juicy weenies. I have also talked about how Stephanie Bri is quite the belly dancer, I'm telling you. Superb belly dancer. But recently, Stephanie Bri has discovered the video that I had made on her, and she is none too happy. In fact, she wants that video taken down. Now, as of this moment, as of this video, that video in question has not been taken down. So I'm going to be leaving a link to it in the description below. You might want to go ahead and mirror that one anyway, just in case, she actually does succeed in getting that video taken down, because this is a very dangerous individual, okay? You don't want to fuck around with Stephanie here, okay? You're going to find out why later on. why Stephanie Bri is a dangerous hombre, okay? But aside from the fact that Stephanie Bri is a connoisseur of big weenies, and Stephanie Bri is a accomplished belly dancer, Stephanie Bri is also quite the philosopher. She's willing to have the conversations that no one ever really asked to have. A perfect example, which is taken from Stephanie Bri's website, because of course she has a fucking website, simply entitled, What Freddy vs. Jason Taught Me About Life and Death. This is quite the interesting read. I'll be leaving a link to her website in the description below, should you want to check it out, among the other interesting articles there. But yeah, so let's get into what Freddy vs. Jason taught our girl about life and death here, okay? I don't remember how old I was the first time I had a nightmare. Who even does? I just remember waking up too scared to go back to sleep. I was already having pattern nightmares long before I ever watched my first movie with Freddy Kruger, inflicting that suffering on others. Needless to say, those movies changed me as a person. Because that is exactly what someone normal would say about watching a movie about a child serial killer and rapist turned dream demon. I can't really pinpoint the exact moment I got into horror as a person, I just always watched horror as a kid. I have ample fond memories of going to the local video rental shop and browsing the horror section every time. I would always grab a movie based entirely on the cover art. I tried not to read about the movies before watching them. I always wanted to go in completely in the dark. Darkness is what life is. We live our lives in the dark. From the moment we are born, there is a dark cloud of death looming over our heads, waiting to rain down on us when our time is up. I learned this lesson at the age of 5. Okay, how much do you want to bet that when she wrote that part, a Black Veil Bride song was just blasting from her speakers there? Because that's what I think happened. Maybe some My Chemical Romance too. You know, some Panic at the Disco there, you know. But definitely maybe some Black Veil Brides. I had a cousin who liked to chase me with spiders. He discovered I was terrified of the vile critters, and since he wasn't, he would pick them up and hold them out to me. I hated him. I wanted nothing more than for him to just be out of my life. One day he was climbing a tree. Nobody knows why he had the jump rope with him. Perhaps he was planning on swinging from the branches like the old tree swing we were all too familiar with at Grandma's house. Either way, he slipped, fell, and that rope wrapped around his tiny, inexperienced neck. He died in an instant. I never wished for that. I'm sure you didn't. This really traumatized my 5-year-old brain. I had wished he was dead, and now he was. This broke me. Really gotta be careful what you're wishing for there, honey. I became obsessed with death. I couldn't get enough scary movies. I was as young as 7, renting A Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and oh, so many other terrifying tales of death and despair. Because that is exactly what a young, developing child needs to see. Teenagers fucking in the woods, smoking pot, and getting slaughtered by crazy people. But that is exactly what a 7-year-old needs to be watching. Those fucking movies. Death became a companion to my imagination. Then the nightmares returned. Oy. I talk about my dreams often. To be honest, none of these horror movies I ever watched directly gave me nightmares. Often they were oddly comfort movies. I would watch a horrifying movie with murder and scares, then sleep soundly with wonderful dreams of exploring the universe. My nightmares came from elsewhere. Ooh, I wonder where. I don't talk about the abusive father I knew as a child, mostly because by age 12 he had converted to Christianity and had a life-altering transformation into this whole other man. A kinder, gentler man by most accounts. The days of hiding in my bed under the covers, listening to him beat Mom, waiting for his belt or fist to find my behind were over. But those memories, that fear of my father stuck with me. The first time I watched a nightmare movie, I was in kindergarten. Because again, watching a movie about a child rapist and murderer becoming a dream demon and killing people in their sleep, that is definitely the perfect movie to be showing a fucking 5-year-old. I watched A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 with my dad one day when it came on whichever movie channel was offering a free weekend preview that month. My dad loved to scare us as kids. He took pleasure in pranking us, as well as the aforementioned violence he inflicted on our tiny lives. What he especially took pleasure in was showing us the most frightening films he could find and watch us cower in fear as the horrors of the motion picture proceeded to scare our tiny psyches. And Stephanie Bri later would turned into a wonderful, normal fucking adult. While Dad's abuse did include a physical component, he wasn't often that violent. Those were extremely rare occasions. Rather, his abuse was psychological and emotional. He used to call me fat kid, lazy, stupid, clumsy, and other choice words I'll refrain from using here. This isn't YouTube, honey. You're not gonna get demonetized or have your video taken down because you said cunt. The worst two things he called me stand out in my mind. First was the harsh usage of the word faggot. I used to play dress up with my sisters. I would play with their dolls and hang out with their little girlfriends regularly. He decided I was a faggot at an early age and was quick to point out how I had better not be one when I grew up. Oh, what a good job you fucking did on that there, Daddy Stephanie. What a fucking terrific job you have done to prevent your son from turning into a faggot. Great job, stupid. The second word he used to call me didn't hurt me as much, but it was still awful. I was really into rap music. I liked to watch TV shows like Family Matters and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He used to call me a wigger for being too friendly to the blacks. He threw away my Michael Jackson tape and called it sickening that I was into that trash. He had a word for Michael I dare not type here in 2023. I lived in the shadows of my dad's reign of terror, afraid to tell him I got an F on a test or that I had detention yet again. I knew I was coming home to either a verbal flogging or the back of his belt across my bare ass. So I threw myself into my virtual world. I sank into my toys, my video games, my comic books, and above all, my horror movies. These things provided me an escape from the daily torments I faced. The day I discovered the world of Freddy Kruger's nightmare world, I found my escape. I would often daydream I was a dream warrior, fighting the vile serial killer with my own special dream powers. Now, I haven't seen the Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors movie in a long time, but if my memory serves me well, a good chunk of the Dream Warriors got their asses kicked and ultimately murdered by the Dream Demon. Which, not for nothing, if Stephanie was actually a Dream Warrior and actually had to go up against Freddy Kruger, she would definitely get her ass kicked and ultimately murdered. There. But sure. As I grew older and life continued to throw ever increasingly horrific traumas my way, those daydreams gradually shifted. By the time I was 12, I was no longer imagining myself as the hero defeating the evil Kruger. I was pretending I was him and imagining all the horrifying ways I would get my own revenge on the kids I blamed for my troubles. Yeah, this definitely sounds like a very mentally stable individual we should definitely get firearms to. I can't imagine what would happen. Anything going wrong if we gave this mentally stable person firearms. You know, it's like giving Christian or Daniel Larson or Cyrax a gun. Nothing bad's gonna happen if you give any of those fine, mentally sane individuals firearms. Nothing bad's gonna happen. Right. To say I was bullied would be an understatement. I was regularly beaten up and abused by the rubbish pieces of garbage that called themselves my classmates, to the point that Dad's response was not to inform the school they needed to do better. Instead, he taught me how to fight back and told me to stand up for myself. I won't get into details here. That's another story for another day. Needless to say, I went from being bullied to being the bully. I became the very monster I had grown to hate. Oh, it gets better. Those horror movies now offer me more than an escape. They gave me tools to plot ways I could inflict harm on my fellow students. Again, very mentally stable individual, especially after reading that. I'm sure nothing bad is going to happen if we give this person a firearm. When I turned 18, the first thing I did with my paycheck from my after school job was bought the entire Elm Street franchise on VHS in one big classic boxed set. Finally, I could revisit my best friend Freddy Kruger anytime I wanted. As I grew up, those movies became comfort food for my soul. Sure. The way Freddy Krueger would torment his victims gave me pleasure. The bloody kills gave me satisfaction. I can't describe it. I wanted nothing more than to escape into that nightmare world as often as I could. Again, very mentally stable individual, one that we should definitely give firearms to. Then in 2003, something happened that changed it all. New Line Cinema had acquired the rights to use Jason Voorhees, antagonist from the rival Friday the 13th horror franchise. This culminated in the release of a film fans have been dying to see for 20 years. Freddy vs. Jason. This movie provided me with a form of catharsis. Freddy was done. His deeds were in the past. The franchise came to an end. Franchise came to a fucking end with Freddy's Dead the final nightmare, but sure. This, in turn, was bittersweet for me. While I enjoyed the film for the burst of nostalgia it shot into my heart, probably in other places as well, giving your lustful satisfaction for watching Freddy Krueger murder people there. I grew to despise it for ending the franchise I'd become so fond of. As an adult, I now know that all things must come to an end. Everything must die, even our favorite media franchises and movie characters. In this fucking day and age, that ain't happening. I have since gotten to a point where I can analyze horror from a more adult perspective. Oh, thank Christ for that. I see it as more than escapism. It's a reflection on the harsh reality we all face from the moment the sperm forces itself into the egg. Death is inevitable. Yesterday was Trans Day of Remembrance. As a trans person, I can assure you I have all too many accounts of friends I have lost to violence either at the hands of others or more sadly their own. I sit here now reflecting on the lives we lost and I wonder, why me? Why has life allowed my troubled heart to keep pumping blood into my broken body while others have stopped? What does this life have in store for me? What is my purpose in this life? Well, entertaining me with shit like this, that's definitely one of them. To tell stories is the answer. I could tell my own stories in hopes others can learn from my own troubles. I also tell stories my brain fabricates in hopes those stories help me make sense of this twisted world we live in. Looking back on my life, I probably wouldn't have survived as long as I have if I hadn't found comfort in these horror movies. Especially the ones set in the nightmare world. Thank you, Robert Englund, for not causing Stephanie to do a swan dive off of a cliff there. Thanks. My life is a nightmare I can't wake up from. All I can do is summon my own dream powers and fight the evils that life throws at me with an ever stronger will. Well, seeing as how you commanded your subscribers to flag down my initial video on you, I'm going to say that those dream powers of yours have run out. There. Then again, the Springcasters tried to use numbers and autistic screeching to take me down, and they failed. The Killing Joke tried to use bizarre nightclub stories from the 80s to try to take me down. Matthew Vickers is trying to take me and the rest of the internet down with LOL suits. Fox Zord tried to use pictures of my penis to try to destroy me. None of that's working. None of that worked. So... yeah, maybe your dream powers will work this time. Maybe it'll wind up at you getting your ass handed to you. Who the fuck knows? I'm a completely different kind of entity there. I'm a completely different fucking entity, you know. I'm insanity incarnate, baby. You're gonna need more of the dream powers to take me down a peg or two. Anyway. So, this was Stephanie Bri's philosophical thoughts on life and death via horror movies. Again, this is a very sane individual who should definitely be allowed firearms. I just don't see anything bad happening to the world if we allow Stephanie here to own firearms. I'm sure everything's going to be fine if we allow Stephanie access to firearms. There. But, yep, that's the video. Again, link to the website and the last video I did on Stephanie Bri. It's going to be in the description below. Hope you all have a good rest of your day. I don't know when the next time I'm going to be floating around making YouTube videos is, but hopefully it's within the near future. But, again... have a good one.